It's Sunday, and I'm wrapping up the week by summarizing this week's theme: how rich people accidentally destroy their wealth. In case you missed any of the episodes this week, here's the recap. I talked about understanding the difference between assets and stuff. Most people think that they're the same, and they're not. Letting your ego make your financial decisions for you. But if you have a big ego, you're not going to listen to me anyways. So you just keep on doing your thing. Bad financial advice, that is the financial ruin of many. Over concentration of assets. That's probably where I see both the biggest sources of wealth, but also the biggest downfalls for people, and too much risk taking. Okay, so my challenge for you this week, after listening to, hopefully you've listened to all of these episodes, is to run the accumulator of wealth calculator. Now, this isn't going to paint the full picture, but it gives you some idea of where you stand. Are you making decisions in line with growing and protecting your wealth, or are you putting yourself at risk of destroying your wealth? And so we have to take the temperature, or we have to gauge our wealth to begin with. So here's how you do that. I've talked about this before on the podcast. This is a concept from the book, The Millionaire Next Door. And it's an easy calculation. You take your pre-tax annual household income from all sources, except inheritance. Like if you're a trust fund baby, take that out of the mix. But if you take this number, let's just use some nice round numbers. Let's say your income is $200,000 a year. Then you multiply this income by your age. So if I do that real quick, 200,000, and let's say I'm 55 years old, and then I take that number, which is 11 million, and I divide that result by 10. And that gives me my expected net worth. So if I'm 55, my expected net worth should be $1.1 million. If you are 65, again, so it's a nice measure because it takes into account income. So if you have a higher income and you're older and have had more time, you should have more net worth. And generally that's what people do. But if you are an average accumulator of wealth, your actual net worth is going to be somewhere in the ballpark of that $1.1 million figure. If you are a prodigious accumulator of wealth, you're going to have a net worth that is twice or more of that amount. So you're going to be at 2.2 million or higher. If you are significantly less than that 1.1 million figure, let's say maybe half of that amount, you have like 500,000 in net worth, then you are an under accumulator of wealth. So do the calculation. It's simple, easy, straightforward. It helps you to see where you are. If you're a prodigious accumulator of wealth, and you have a high concentration of assets, a high risk portfolio, that's an indicator that you may want to downshift some of the things that you're doing, diversify your assets more. If you're an average accumulator of wealth, you're on the right path and you're making a lot of these right decisions. You're not accumulating too much stuff at the sacrifice of accumulating more assets. Probably not letting your ego make your financial decisions and spending decisions for you. And you've obviously not made enough blunders to set yourself behind and like taking bad advice or too much risk or something like that. If you're an underaccumulator of wealth, the next step is to identify, well, what's the source of that? Do I spend too much? Have I made some missteps along the way? And the important thing here is not to blame your circumstances, but you want to identify decisions. Yes, you may be just the unluckiest person in the world. That's entirely possible. But generally, our success or lack thereof is a mixture of good luck, good timing, being in the right place at the right time, investing at the right time, making a certain decision like 20 years ago that had a really positive impact today. It could be the person you married. That's a good decision or a bad decision. Whatever it is, figure out why you are an underaccumulator of wealth. Be honest with yourself so you can work and start taking steps in the right direction to bump yourself up into average and prodigious. If you're enjoying the podcast, subscribe and follow so you never miss an episode. Leave a review and share the show with a friend or family member you know who is getting close to retirement. And if you're interested in learning more about working with me, you can check out my website, truenorthra.com. I love hearing from listeners. You can book a free 15-minute call with me. There's a link in the upper right-hand corner of the homepage. And I'm happy to chat about anything on your mind regarding retirement. No strings attached. All right, tomorrow I am starting a brand new theme, one I've been very reluctant to talk about. I've hinted at it in yesterday's episode, but I think now's a good time. I've never been this worried about the stock market, and next week I will explain why. On that high note, I hope you have a blessed Sunday. My name is Ashley Michike, and this is the Retirement Quick Tips Podcast.